Breaking down Arizona Wildcats football. We are in the middle of fall camp here in Tucson. Practices have been in the morning. I'm David Kelly, joined as always by my man Glenn Howell, U of A football class of 1985. And Glenn, a little bit of a different look at practice today. There were some players who were not present. Jayden DeLore wasn't there. Jacob Cowing wasn't there on the offensive side of the ball. So we got to see Noah Fafita running a lot with the ones. Overall, I wouldn't say he was particularly sharp, but when he got to the red zone, he put the ball in the end zone, and that's one of the things that's going to be important for this team.
Well, that's going to be the difference of wins and loss this year for our team, is that we have to be able to score inside the 20. Our inside the 20 percentages were horrible last year, so I think that's a good thing that Jed Fish is really concentrating on the inside the 20 plays, making sure they emphasize these guys that they're going to be able to score, and that's what they want to do, and that's what they've been doing.
He threw a beautiful ball in an early 11-on-11 situation to Tevin Mcmillan. Back of the end zone, kid just went up and got it like he did. We saw Saturday in the scrimmage when he scored over Christian Roland Wallace. Glenn, you throw him the football, he's going to catch it. One of the things maybe he needs to work on, though, is his burst off the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I think he's got all the height, he's got all the tangibles to be a great wide receiver. But one thing he has to understand is that when he's starting to get in front of these 6'2" corners that you're going to see in the Pac-12, you've got to be able to get that burst off that and make these guys turn their hips and do all the other things that a good receiver does. But he does go up and get the ball. On a 50-50 ball, I'm going with T-Mac.
Let's talk about, you're the tight end, so of course we got to talk about the tight ends. There's a whole bunch of big guys down there this year.
I felt small, and I'm 6'4", and we got some big guys. Powell, we got Lines, we got Burnett. I mean, these guys, McLaughlin. I mean, these guys are Miranda, he had a great day today. He caught like 3 balls. I'm like, that's fantastic for the tight end. And they got to remember, they have to catch the ball when it's thrown to them, because it's an indictment of the position. That's what usually happens with coaches. If you guys ain't catching the ball, we're not going to throw it to you. So they did a good job catching the ball. We got to be limited on the drops, and I think they're going to be a part of this offense, and I'm excited.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Keon Burnett is a young guy with a lot of promise, but he's put the ball on the carpet a few times in the last few practices, but a young kid who will work on that aspect of it. When you talk about the tight end position and guys throwing to the tight end, Jayden, I haven't, and then we've talked about how Jayden really has not ever worked with a tight end at any level. Haven't really seen him throw the ball to the tight end that much. Have seen Noah throw the ball to the tight end because he's more familiar with having that position on the field.
Yeah, and I believe Jayden said the only time he threw it to a tight end was in Madden. That's when he was playing Madden. So that's going to have to change, because he's got some big targets. And Noah's feeling comfortable with Burnett. They've been playing for 4 or 5 years. Actually, they've been playing for 6 years, because they played in junior high together. So that's a comfortable fit for them. And I hope that Jayden gets that fit down, because those tight ends are going to be very valuable for him.
And Glenn, in fall camp, one of the hard things to kind of get a gauge on is the offensive line, because you're not always going necessarily at full speed in a lot of instances. But what have you seen? What's your assessment of what you've seen from the guys down front so far?
Well, one of the things that I do an assessment on the offensive line is that when I'm watching them, like, I'll look at their feet. And I'm looking at their feet. Are they moving in sequence? When they call a play, are they moving in sequence? And I've been pretty pleased of what I've been seeing, even in their drills, when they're doing their individual drills and everything, and they're there as a team, as a unit. They're moving their feet in sequence, and I'm really excited about that. And then they have to get better technically. That's all they have to do, is get better in that situation, and I think we'll have a better offensive line.
Well, and let's get it straight. I don't care how good Jayden DeLore is, freshman of the year. If this offensive line does not play better, does not stay healthy, we're going to see a lot of what we saw last season.
Yeah, but the thing that I'm a little bit comfortable with is that Jayden DeLore, he likes chaos. I've been watching film of him up at Washington State, and when he gets out in chaos, he's under control. He makes plays, which I really am liking when I'm seeing them on film.
All right, let's flip it over to the defensive side of the ball. As I said, some guys were missing from practice on Wednesday. Ephesians Prysock was in there at the cornerback position, working opposite of Christian Roland Wallace and Glenn. 2 6'4" corners when you're talking about Prysock, Takario Davis, and then you throw in Adama Fall, who I believe is 6'3". Yeah. Big guys on the corner, bigger than we've seen here in Tucson in a long time.
Those are NFL height and weight. Those are guys who are in the NFL, and we just got to develop. That is going to be the canary in the coal mine. Are these guys going to be developed into great players at the University of Arizona? Are they going to be able to lock down these receivers from USC, UCLA, Washington, Utah? These kids are going to have a real challenge on their hands, and they're going to have to be able to develop and get better.
Linebackers, that's a position of concern for me going in, Glenn, just because you really don't have a lot of experience there. Jerry Roberts, the most experienced guy, he's coming back off of an injury, but has looked really impressive in coverage. Had that play in the scrimmage where he basically chased Jacob Cowling all the way downfield on the underneath coverage there and batted down a ball in the practice today. So I like what I've seen from Jerry.
I'm thinking we're looking at our leader on that team, on that defense. You know, he's very energetic. He's always patting guys on the back, you know, and letting them know that he's there, and he's very enthusiastic, and I'm liking that. I like the energy on our defense. The energy's expecting turnovers. They're disappointed if they don't get a turnover during practice. I've been to like almost 8 practices, so I'm really excited about what I'm seeing. So, you know, we're going to see what happens in San Diego.
Colby Cage, another linebacker there that was able to get his hand on a pass during the workout on Wednesday. You mentioned energy, and we've seen a lot of that from this team as a whole. Beginning of practice on Wednesday, the defense was Deion Wilson, a freshman, was out there for, actually I think he's a sophomore, was out there riling the guys up, getting them pumped to get ready for another grinding day. They've been doing these 9:15, 10 a.m. practices. It's still pretty hot at this point of the day out there, but it was good to see the energy that they were bringing.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. Can you maintain that energy throughout the season? There's going to be ups and downs going on at this school. So how are you going to handle that? And how are the guys going to make each other accountable to come back to practice the next day and be energetic? Ups and downs is what's going to be able to see how this team is going to handle it. How are they going to handle those things? Because there are going to be some of those during the season, and are they going to be able to be accountable, make their teammates accountable to work hard every day?
And Glenn, you are the personal trainer, so we'll talk about this point of camp. You're about, I believe this is practice number 12 of this fall camp session. We saw some lower leg injuries today. Jackson Turner went out of practice. Anthony Simpson on offense had a little bit of an injury. What is important about where these guys need to be body-wise right now, about halfway through heading into San Diego State?
Well, the things that we're seeing they're getting hit. You know, they're getting hit, so they're not no soft tissue stuff and everything. You know, I'm not an ATC, I'm a strength coach, so I really pay attention to those kinds of things, and I'm not seeing those kinds of injuries, you know, soft tissue stuff. So I think that you know, Tyler's done a great job. The guys look different. They're running around, you know, and that's going to happen with football. They're going to get those little nicks.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to be continuing our coverage throughout fall camp. We'll have some position group breakdowns coming up for you here in the coming weeks, as we are just a little bit over 2 weeks away from the season opener, Arizona at San Diego State. Glenn, as always, appreciate your time.
No. Thank you, Dave. Bear down.
Bear down. All right. Stay with us here, News 4 Tucson, for our continuing coverage of Arizona football.